Hello everyone, I'm Joy Paleo, the Education Program Manager at Balanced Body, and I want to talk to you about a fun product that we have here. So everybody in the Pilates world knows a little something about rotator discs, and usually rotator discs have no resistance in them whatsoever. But Balanced Body has added to their repertoire, if you will, of rotator discs by adding rotator discs that have a torsion spring with some light resistance and some heavy resistance. And one of the big questions I get all the time is, well, now what do I do with the rotator discs? So this is just a little demo to give you some information on what to do with your rotator discs. So over here I have Jess, the lovely Jess, and she's got rotator discs with no resistance. This is what you traditionally will see in a studio. Over here with Alicia, I have rotator discs with a light resistance. And over there, Levi is going to be working on rotator discs with a heavier resistance. So what are these rotator discs good for in general? Well, not only do they rotate, but they help you work on the rotational components in your body, such as the rotation of your hips and the rotation of your shoulders. You also have rotation in your forearms and in your lower leg. This is a really lovely way to start to work on balancing the muscles and the strength around those rotation components in your body. So let me give you a little bit on what these guys are going to do. The first thing is I'm going to ask them all to just simply step on. First, Jess is going to step on. She's going to keep her legs relatively parallel. You'll notice we have the discs roughly hip width apart. We're going to add a little twist here, and we're going to take the discs, and I'm going to ask her to externally rotate and bring the leg back to midline or to parallel. What is that going to do? What are you feeling?
The adductors.
So she's biasing her adductors here. I'm going to ask Levi to do the opposite. Now remember, he's got the heavy resistance on. So he is going to take his foot, he starts internally rotated, and then he's going to come to parallel. And as he does that, he's working against a spring inside the rotator disc, which is biasing his abductors. So can you feel that, Levi? You have to work a little harder to stand up there right through the outside of your hip. Great. So what do you do when you have this? Well, we got them in position and we're going to do a squat. I'm going to ask all of you guys to just squat for me. Over here, Jess has no resistance on, and come on up. Yeah, and come on down. And come on up. Jess got no resistance on there. So what is she working on? She's working on balance and control because it's really easy. Look at her now. She's just kind of hanging out. It's really easy for her to kind of get a little flower girly on me, right? I want her to stay really nice and stationary, more core control. So hit it. What do we have over here? We have more adductor bias. So as she's coming down into the squat, she's feeling those adductors really kind of click in, and she's got to work on balancing the adductors. And here for Levi, as he goes down, he's working more on biasing his abductors. This is how we start to work on balancing the strength in and around the hip joint, in particular for this exercise. Great, you guys all feel that? Mm-hmm. Let's have you step off. So if we could do that for squats, we could do that for what? Lunges. So I'm going to ask Jess to take her right foot, put it on the right side disc, no resistance. So when she gets into this balanced position, she's going to be working and struggling to make sure the joints stay nice and stable, and she needs a little more proximal control. Alicia here is going to do, she did internal before, we're going to ask you now to bias your external rotators. So notice she puts her foot on the disc and she twists into that resistance, and then she balances herself up over that disc. Levi, we're now going to ask him to bias his adductors, which I would imagine is going to be a bit of a challenge because he's on the heavy resistance. So he turns his foot out and he steps into the resistance and then balances himself. Now you guys all make sure your back leg, you have enough space on your back leg between your back and your front leg, and be balanced over the front disc and lower down into a lunge. Bend the back knee and lower down and lower up. So as they're working a lunge, this now changes what they're experiencing, what they're feeling. Keep lowering and lifting. For Levi, he's really got to work to stay parallel using his adductors. For Alicia, she's got to really work on those abductors. And over here with Jess, we're working on balance and control around the joints as she's lowering and lifting. This is really a unique experience and a great opportunity to work on balance, control, and coordination in and around the hip rotators. So that's just a little sample of what you can do with the legs. You guys can stop there. Now let's have a little fun with these things. And let's work a little bit on the core. So if you guys all would just step up on the left rotator disc. And look straight at the camera. And starting with just your hips and your legs, can you start to rotate right and left? And don't worry if you're in sync with each other, but just start to rotate left and right. Left and right. Good. Let your arms come up. Really focus on that control of the pelvis as you're rotating. Yeah. Let the legs go as well. Yeah. Now, do you feel how your shoulders and your torso want to get in on it? Go for it. Let the shoulders, let the torso go. You could hear the music in your mind. Go for it. Go for it. Yep. Go, go, go. You feel how your trunk has to work to control. Here again, balance, control, coordination. Here we've got a light resistance working on the obliques and the core. Also balance and control. And Levi, he's got an awful lot working in the obliques. All right, guys, let's really make this a musical event. Go down, go down, go down. Come on, baby. Yep, and then come on up, 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 up. You're not seeing anything, but these guys are getting a little bit sweaty here. So, so here we go, just a little bit on how to use the rotator discs to balance and bias the abductors and the adductors, how to work strength and proximal control, and how to bring this a little bit into the core while standing. So we just worked on using the rotator discs to bias the rotation in the hips. Now we're going to take this down to the ground and we're going to use our 3 different rotator discs and work on some of the spiraling in the arms and the rotation in the shoulders. So again, we have Jess over there and she's got no resistance. She's going to put her hands on there and all I want you to do, Jess, is just turn them medially and laterally. So you can see that there's no resistance in there and she's able to just move easily through the hand, the wrist, the forearm, all the way up to the shoulder. Over here with Alicia, we've got light resistance. I'm going to ask her to do the same thing. Jess is going to keep moving and Alicia's going to take that light resistance. Now she starts with her middle finger right in the center, so there's no resistance at all. And as she medially rotates and laterally rotates, what you're going to find, or what she's going to find, is that there's some resistance to that spiraling in the arm. Now Levi over here, he's got the heavy resistance. So he's going to do the same thing. You guys keep moving, and we're going to bring Levi into this. The heavy resistance can be a little challenging on the upper body. I recommend the heavy resistance mostly for your men. So he's going to do the same thing. Great. Guys, what I'd like to add to this now is some spinal movement. So as you all bring your fingertips toward each other in medial rotation, can you round your back in a cat? Now, as you come to center or to straight, externally or laterally rotate and give me a nice cow. Good. And go into that one more time. So here's a lovely opportunity to work on the spiraling of the arms, the medial and lateral rotation, particularly in the shoulder, and how it relates to the thorax and to spinal movement. What's nice about the resistance is the resistance gives you lots of feedback up through the forearm and the arm. What's also nice about no resistance is you really have to work on the coordination of these joints as they move together with each other into the spine. So it really creates a nice opportunity to work on the coordination as well. Again, here's a little more control coming through the core. Great. You guys feel that? Mm-hmm. Lovely. I want to take this now into doing similar to what we did for the lower body, which is biasing the abductors and the adductors and taking it into some upper body work. So now, if you guys wouldn't mind, take your hands off. Jess, what Jess is going to do, she's going to put her hands, boom, right on those rotator discs, and she's going to hold them steady. So her job is to hold them steady. Alicia is going to bias the midline or medially on her shoulders. She's going to take her hands to the outside and turn the discs now to center. Great. You feel that internal or that medial spiral? Great. Levi, you're going to do the opposite. He's going to take his hands this way, and he's going to bias now more laterally around the shoulder joint. Guys, we're just going to do a tricep press, keeping your hips over your knees. Bend your elbows and straighten. So over there with Jess, the challenge is really going to be for her not to let her hands start to spiral. Again, she's got to coordinate her hand, her wrist, her forearm, her shoulder as she's working the triceps. These guys, they have a whole different challenge. they're working against resistance, either a medial spiral or a lateral spiral around the shoulder. Great. And you guys can stop there. It totally changes the work in the tricep. It makes what looks like a relatively simple tricep press a more challenging tricep press. I want to take that. Where's our next place we're going to go? What makes sense? Let's go to plank, right? Why not? These guys are strong enough. We can do this. So again, over here, just no resistance. She's gonna put her fingers right in the center there, and her job is not for this to happen. We're gonna reverse your bias here, Alicia. So she's gonna bias now that lateral spiral, and Levi, you're gonna reverse it and bias the medial spiral. Okay, guys, here, let's just go for 2 push-ups. Ready? And you're gonna go down, and you're gonna come up for 1, and you're gonna go down, and you're going to come up for 2. Bend your knees, great, and you guys can sit back into child's pose. Let the resistance on there go. So one of the things I hope you're seeing is with these resistance discs, you get 3 unique options and ways in which to work core balance and control, no resistance, biasing the muscular balance around the rotational aspects of the hip and the shoulder. And we can't forget, especially here as you're using the arms, you're working on the forearms as well. I want to do one more thing and integrate the spine. So you guys get rid of one of those discs, put it off to the side. Put the other disc right in front of you. Put both hands on that disc. And you're in all fours. So that means your shoulders over your hands and your hips over your knees. Let's have you start by taking a look or a gaze over your right shoulder. Turn your dial of your rotator disc to the right and let the movement of your arms take your spine into lateral flexion. Great. And let's have you come back. Let your eye gaze go to the left. Let your hands spiral to the left and let the movement of the arms and the rotator disc take the spine into lateral flexion. Good, and then come back. What I do like about the resistance here, let's have you guys go to the right again, is we could start to work on eccentrically controlling the return, meaning I don't want these guys to just pop back because the resistance is dragging them back. I want them to resist the resistance as they return. Can you guys feel that? Okay, so you're adding a little more obliques into the work, and you're adding control as you come from that lateral flexion back to your neutral all fours. Over here with the no resistance, what I need is control. You'll notice what's happening. Jess is kind of letting her hips sway a little left and right. It's easy to let that disc take you for a ride. She's got to do the control. It's more proximal control for her. Great. Super. You guys can come back to center and sit back. All right, so there you have it. We have rotator discs, no resistance, which is what we've always had. And now we've augmented them with these great rotator discs that have a light and a heavy resistance. You should know these rotator discs were brought to us and introduced to us by Victor Yugan, who is one of our master instructors here at Balanced Body. So proud of him, and these have just been a wonderful addition to the rotator disc lineup. If you ask me which one you should buy, I'm going to tell you, you should have a set minimally of all 3 of these. It's your choice whether you want the 12-inch, the larger disc, or the 9-inch, which you see that they have here. So that's it for now. Rotator discs away and enjoy.